Hi, we're ready for our last topic 1 lesson. This is about unit rates with fractions. A unit rate is, remember, whenever our denominator is 1. So we'll be looking at unit rates whenever we also have fractions involved.
Suppose you walk 3/2 miles in 3/4 of an hour. Write this rate as a fraction. To convert this rate to a unit rate, divide each term by the denominator. Remember, dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. Now, simplify. Your unit rate is 2 miles per hour.
Okay, so just like before, whenever we worked with unit rates, we would divide by that denominator to make, because we're taking a number, dividing by itself, and we're getting 1, to make that denominator 1 and get our unit rate. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must also do to the top to remain equivalent. Just to show you the details a little bit better, if we take on the top 3/2 and on the bottom 3/4, we're dividing both of these by that denominator, which would actually be multiplying by the reciprocal on both the top and the bottom. 3 times 4 is 12, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 3 is 12. So we got on the top 2, on the bottom 1. Since we are talking about a rate, those units or labels are different, and we do want to keep them because they're important to the context of the problem. Okay, so that's how they solved the problem, but we had learned this trick to do the double rainbow. You can do that. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6. We can reduce this, and we get our unit rate, 2 miles for 1 hour. I think I'll stick to this method just because it's something we've been sticking to in the past.
He's so well behaved. Does he know any tricks?
Him? I can't teach him anything.
I think he was talking to me.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so in this problem, we want to know how many cups of milk powder do you need per dog biscuit. This is for 1 dog biscuit, and that means that we're talking about unit rate. So we have 3/4 of a cup for 6 dog biscuits. I'm going to use our double rainbow trick, giving 6 a denominator. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 6 is 24. Ooh. We can reduce this by dividing by 3, which will give us 1/8. Well, we are not quite finished because this isn't a unit rate. To get a unit rate, we want to see 1 in the denominator, and we have 8 in the denominator. So what we can do to get a unit rate, we want this denominator to be 1 biscuit. We would divide by 8. 1 divided by 8. Now you can't actually do 1 divided by 8 and get a whole number answer. So we'll just write it as 1/8, which represents 1 divided by 8. 1/8 cup for 1 biscuit. Again, this is an alternate way to doing the problem because you could start with your 3/4 cup for 6 biscuits, and you could divide by 6 on the numerator and the denominator. You would get 1 biscuit, and on the top you would just have to do some fraction work. 3/4 divided by 6/1 is like doing 3/4 times 1/6. 3/24 for 1. We would reduce that fraction on top divide by 3, and we would also get 1/8 cup for one biscuit. So again, you have options in how you want to solve this, but like I said before, I'm going to stick to the double rainbow method. Okay, let's go on. Oh, no, I do want to do this one. If your dog eats 7/8 pounds of food in 4 meals, how much food does your dog eat per meal? So what is the unit rate? Pause the video, try it out, and then check your work. Okay, I'm just going to begin by getting rid of the fraction in general. I'll give 4 denominator 1, 7 times 1, 8 times 4. At least this way I don't have to deal with those fractions anymore. But I want the unit rate, so I want to know how much for one meal. So I'm going to have to divide by 32. Now, I can't do 7 divided by 32, so I can just write it as 7 over 32 pounds for one meal. 7 over 32 cannot be reduced, so that is our final answer. Okay, we're on to part 2. We have several problems to practice with. Again, remember these are all rates, so we are seeing those different labels, and we do want to make sure we continue to write the labels on our answers. Okay, I think this would be a great time to try these all out, and then you can just skip ahead and see if you got them correct, looking for any mistakes that you might have made. 1 times 4, 2 times 1. I can reduce it by 2, or also I can just be thinking that I want this denominator to be 1. It's kind of going to be the same idea. 2 miles for 1 hour. I'm going to make sure to put those labels back on there. 7 times 5, 10 times 1. I want to get this denominator to be 1, so I divide by 10. 35 divided by 10. You can do 35 divided by 10. 10 goes into 35 3 whole times with 5 left over out of 10. Now I can reduce that 3 and 5 tenths to just say 3 and 1/2, dividing both the numerator and denominator by 5. I'll go ahead and put my labels back on. Feet per second. 4 times 3, 5 times 2. I want my denominator to be 1, so I can divide by 10. 12 divided by 10. 10 goes into 12 one whole time with 2 left over out of 10. We can reduce this. I'm getting a little sloppy up there. And we can get 1 and 1/5 for 1 minute. What was this? Millimeters? Oh, kilometers. Okay, and on the last one, 15 times 6. Well, 15 times 2 would be 30. 3 times, that would be 90. 4 times 5, 20 meters per minute. Okay, we do want to make sure we get a unit rate, so we want this to be 1 on the bottom. We need to divide by 20 on the top and the bottom. 90 divided by 20, well 20 goes into 90 4 whole times with 10 left over out of 20, which just makes 4 and 1/2 meters for 1 minute. And we have a unit rate on each and every problem. You're planning to build a boat. You have a sample board of the wood that you want to use. The board has an area of 1/3 feet squared and weighs 1/5 pounds. What is the weight of the wood in pounds per square foot? Read the words carefully. Pounds. That's what we're talking about first. Per square foot. The words will tell you how to order your ratio or rate. Okay, so we want to know just how much for a square foot. That's 1 unit rate. We want to know how many pounds for 1? So to get this to be 1 foot, we could divide by 1/3. Divide by 1/3. Notice that in this case, I'm not doing that rainbow trick, but I can show you how to do it that way as well, because I'm just mixing it up here. When we divide by a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. So I get 1 times 3, 5 times 1. Again, if you want to do the rainbow trick, you would start with your beginning rate. 1 times 3, 5 times 1, get that unit rate. 3 divided by 5 can just be written as 3/5. You can't actually divide it real well. Pounds per foot. So whatever method you like, whatever makes more sense to you. All right, on to the last part. When discussing unit rates already, earlier in this topic, we learned about how they can be really helpful to compare things. Here we have 2 cars with different information, but it's hard to compare which one's going faster because they're both, using a different amount of gas and going a different distance. So we want to see which car can travel the greater distance on 1 gallon of gasoline. So we want to find the unit rate for each car. So I'll start with car A. 18 2/5 miles on 4/5 gallons. All those yucky fractions. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use our rainbow trick now. In order to do that, I do need to make this mixed number improper. 18 times 5. Let's do it over to the side here. Plus 2 be 92/5, and then we have 4/5. Okay, so we would do 92 times 5. They're really putting us to work on calculations here. And 5 times 4. Now to get a unit rate, we would want to make the denominator be 1. 20 divided by 20 is 1. Whatever we do to the top or bottom, we must do to the other side. Let's see. $20 goes into 46 2 times. Oops. And 20 goes into 60 3 times. So that would be 23 miles per gallon, and that's for car A. All right, whoa, come back to us. Okay, let's try car B. In this case, we have 28 1/2 miles for 1 1/4 gallon. Again, we'll go ahead and make those mixed numbers improper. So 28 times 2 will be 56, plus 1, 57 halves. And 1 times 4, plus 1, 5/4. Okay, we'll do our double rainbow trick. 57 times 4. Lots of calculations in this problem. Lots of fractions to deal with. 2 times 5. To get a unit rate, divide by 10. Okay,